What's up, everybody? So I'm coming to you again from my parents' basement. As a lot of you know, I'm recovering from an Achilles injury, so I've had a lot of extra downtime on my hands. I posted a few videos to my YouTube channel where I talk a lot about like practical things like being motivated and like how to get what you want and stuff like that. But today I want to share a different topic that is equally as entertaining, which is a story about my childhood, specifically about the day that our house flooded. So it was about 2004, and it was New Year's Day, and it was my mother and I at the house at the time, and we're sitting in the living room, and you hear this huge like sound coming from the kitchen. And so we lived in a pretty small townhouse, right? Like it was a two-story house, but our neighbors are like right side by side with us. And so, we're in a small space, so we're like, what the hell was that? And this sound just like keeps roaring. There's like and I'm like, something's going on, like something's gonna blow up. I'm scared. And so I go into the kitchen and I open up the closet, these like two closet doors that were by our kitchen like island, and the water heater has water just pouring out of it like a fucking waterfall. And I close the doors and I run into the living room and I'm like, "Mom, like the house is flooding." And for a little bit more context, like my mom was a very anxiety ridden person. So if one little thing went wrong on a daily basis, she would flip out. And so she was like, "Oh my god, what?" And so she runs into the kitchen, and as all this is going on, like the water just like the amount of water coming out is like increasing. And we live in a small house, so the water like starts to like pile up around our feet. And my mom is like, at this point she's already frantic. She's like, "Oh my fucking god, call your father." Like what the hell's my dad gonna do, like run home and fix it? So we're both freaking out. And like the water heater basically just exploded. And so the water's like filling up. And instead of, she like called like the service number on the water heater, but they were like, "Ma'am, it's New Year's Day, like we're not gonna come out and, and help fix your water heater." And at that point my mom's like, "I'm about to call 911, like what the fuck, my floors are gonna be ruined," like all this stuff. And it was like increasingly getting more dramatic. So we had no idea what to do. We look in the closet where this water heater is, and there's this red knob connected to a pipe. And my mom's like, "Grab a chair, go up there, and turn that fucking knob." And I think I inherited my mom's anxiety because I'm like, "I'm not turning that knob. Like, it's gonna explode. Like, it's a bomb and it's gonna explode if I turn that knob." And my mom was like, "Son of a bitch." Like, the water was just like really like starting to pile up in the house. And I stand on this chair and I'm like reaching to like go turn this knob, and my mom's like, "Do it, do it," and I like turn it like 1 inch, and then I like jump off the chair. And then my mom goes and she's like scared to turn this knob, and she turns it, and nothing happens. Like the water, the water is just still pouring out. So now my mom is like freaking the fuck out, and she runs across the street to this older Indian couple that lived across the street from us. And she's like banging on the door. She's like, help me, our house is flooding." And I was just like, like, why don't we just actually, she was kind of right, because like what are you supposed to do, call 911 about like a water heater exploding? And so this Indian couple who had to be like in their late 60s, maybe 70s, like just super zen, like super chill about everything, like come out of their house, like hands behind their back, like slowly walking to our house across the street. My mom's over here like, "What the fuck? Like our house is, gonna be destroyed." And she like couldn't believe that they were reacting this way. So they finally get to the house, and this older Indian gentleman who has since passed, rest in peace, he goes to us and he's like, "You need to turn off the water supply in your house." And the thing is that growing up, we had this closet that we used to call the dirty clothes closet. And beneath all the dirty clothes was the water supply knob. And so we're like frantically like tossing clothes out of this closet. Water's still pouring out of this water heater. There's like an inch and a half of water compiled in the kitchen area. We throw out all the clothes, every suitcase from every fucking Disney trip we've ever taken in the last 10 years. And this Indian man goes in and he turns the knob off and the water finally stops. And at that point my mom is like looked like she just came back from war. She was like, "Oh my god, thank you so much." She and during all this my mom was a diabetic and she would have low blood sugar like very frequently. It would happen all the time, and when you get low blood sugar, you need to eat, otherwise you can have a diabetic seizure. And so this whole time like my mom like wasn't eating or doing anything really, and so her blood sugar was getting really low. And as the water was going, she's like as the water was going before the family came to help us, she was like, "I need a fucking cheese sandwich." And I'm over here like trying to decide whether to make her like a cheese sandwich while like the water's running out. But the Indian family came over. They advised us what to do, turned off the knob that stopped the water. My mom was like completely like just exhausted and overwhelmed after that point. They even brought us some food, and it was like delicious, like homemade Indian food, like roti and other great things. But uh, we ended up getting a new water heater a few days later. But it was just an incredible story that I still tell to this day, and it's a good memory of who my mom was and kind of how she used to react to things. And yeah, so always share a good story when you have a chance. But that's one of mine from my childhood.